Yossi Ronen is a contact experiencer who lives in Israel. In 1981, he had his first experience with non-human intelligences while sleeping in his bed. What started out as a benign dream then turned scary for Yossi as he realized he and his home had been invaded by beings not of this world. What was the purpose for the visit? And was Yossi also shown a glimpse of our future? And he joins us now. Hello, Yossi.
Hello, Dean. Thank you for having me in your channel.
It's a pleasure. Well, I was reading about your first experience back in 1981. It was quite amazing and very vividly described by you, and I wondered whether you could describe it again for our audience.
Yes, of course. I was for a year in California, in Los Angeles. My brother invited me there he has a small business, and it was a good time for me to earn some money for university. So his business was painting houses around, and I helped him with that. And one afternoon after work, we came to rest at home. It was afternoon, it was not a night or something like that. And I went to bed and I fell asleep, and then I had a weird dream. Now, the dream was that I saw myself sleeping. Then I didn't understand that I had a out-of-body experience. I know it after that. I understood that. But the first thing that was that I was in a dream and I saw my body sleeping on the bed. And it was a good feeling. I didn't felt any strange feeling of something. And in that dream, I saw the creatures for the first time. They were wandering in the room. One of them was standing near my bed, looking at my body sleeping. I was with my face to the wall. And he was looking at me, and others were walking in the room, examining things. One look at the television, touch it. The other one took a paper from the table and touch it and feel it, and maybe smell that even. The other one was walking, a little bit weirdly walking. And I felt that this is, to be in the room, it was new for them. To walk was new for them. They were very clumsy. And they were very curious about what's going on there. And we had the connection in that dream. In that dream, I didn't see a body of myself or something like that. I was something transparent near my bed, watching them, and we had a connection. I don't remember what was the connection in the dream, but we felt very close and like friends. And we laugh. They like to laugh. That's how I felt them, and it was a good communication. And then I woke up. I woke up with my face to the wall because I heard the noise in the room. And I didn't know what's going on in the room. And I remember the weird dream that I have with small creatures that were green with black eyes. And that in 81, there was no internet, or I didn't see any books. I was not interested in this kind of subject at all. I just felt it was a very weird dream. I was very amused, and we were laughing, and then I heard the noise, and I started to think that maybe a thief came to the room, because I heard noises that things moved and like that. So I turned around, sit on the bed, and that was very shocking thing to see. The one that in my dream was standing near my bed was standing half a meter than me, watching at me with his black eyes, and the others were in the room, standing like getting realized that I'm sitting and watch them. And I don't know if they were planning to, they have a plan for me to be awake and see them or not. Maybe
Well,
it was.
yeah. I was just going to say, so I was going to ask, do you think they were surprised that you woke up, or the plan was to keep you in that dream state?
I don't know. I'm a lot of years examining other people that have the same contact, communication, face to face, like I had, and I really don't know. But it seems that now I became to admit that probably they knew it's going to happen, because many years after that I had a hypnotic regression, and in that regression I understood that I had my first contact was when I was 3 years old. So
Okay.
it seems that there was a connection that I didn't remember at all. I didn't know about it. I didn't think about it. And there is something that going on that I don't know till now really what's the purpose of all of that. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not sure that they meant me to be awake and see them face to face, because it was very frightened. I mean, today I know how much other people can be afraid, and it's very natural because they are so different. First one, the look of them. The second thing is that you understand that they are not human. The other thing is that you think that you got out of your mind because this is something that you don't see. You don't see these things.
Did they turn hostile when they realized you were awake?
No, completely the opposite. They were surprised. I think they were surprised too. And they felt my fear. They were standing there, and the fear is something that, I mean, very, very deep fear. It's like fear of death, very strong one, because it's very complicated. But in the years, I understand why many people have that fear. That it's not because there is something to be afraid about, because it's so different, and it's so close in the consciousness connection. The connection is so close that is very foreign for you to feel this connection, this oneness with them, because that's the way that they are connecting. They're connecting.
Did that connection overwhelm you? Is it because it's something you're not used to?
Of course, I didn't have any such a thing like that before. I didn't knew even the idea of telepathy. When I saw them, I knew that they are like, I felt that they can have my feelings, they understand my thoughts, and I was in shock with that. I thought that they are much stronger than me, and they're gonna, like, they can, I'm not like I'm a prison in their consciousness. That was my first feeling, because I didn't understand that they are connecting with me through myself. I was in the time that the good thing that happened there is that because the earlier dream that we had a good connection and we left, it gave me a couple of seconds to try to see if the dream was maybe a sign for that they are not going to hurt me, and they are okay, and there is a good connection. And I started to lower my fear and try to be open to them. And in the minute I did that, I started to realize that in the same way that they can have my thoughts and feelings, I can do with them too. I can hear them. The fear and the noise that like I heard in my brain, the confusion was their connection that I didn't know how to translate or understand or even be open for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the second that the connection started, it was amazing. I mean, the fear gone, and I started to realize their consciousness, and it was amazing feeling.
Okay. What
Was,
kind of connection did you make? What things were they telling you?
you see, the connection is not the way we think about connection. It's not by words or language. It's something much more close to yourself. And this is one of the things that made many people think that they are imagining, that they have a connection, and they are afraid that this is something subjective, because it's very, very close. It's so close that it's something like you hear the connection in your head. And people think, hey, I hear voices in my head, something is wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's very confusing, because the connection is not like we do. He talk, we listen, and then I talk and he listen. It's connection. It's to be one, and the connection is by having each other in the same second. I mean, what I ask is in the same meaning is that the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like whatever I wanted to know, I was just need to go inside and like watch their consciousness, what they feel, what they think, and they had a straight answer from that.
Is that consciousness, is that something that you were just aware of, or is it something that you can see? There's something that represents the consciousness?
Yes, it's something that is you can see it visually. You can hear it. You translate it in a way that it's suitable with your way of seeing, understanding. In the connection, you understand that you translate things. When I felt their consciousness, I knew that this is my translation of something that they have, but it was a close translation. Like I felt their love, and love is love. I felt or knew or understand the way that their consciousness can move from place to place, but it's not physical place. I mean, they know how to move in that realm of other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they like told me, that they are not from a different star, that they are from a different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And that different dimension is not a different place. It's a different like environment here and everywhere.
Okay.
It's not a physical or it's not a physical dimension.
No.
Mhm.
So what other things did you learn from them? I mean, you must have had a lot of questions you wanted to ask.
Well, it taking me years to open it, because it was very short. I stood only, I think it was 1, 2, or 3 minutes. I don't have any defined time that of the connection that we have, because the body having a very difficult time to have this connection, because it's far out. It's much more stronger than you usually have in your normal life. It's very strong, and so in that seconds, there were many things that were like I think the main thing that was strong for me in their consciousness was what we say about God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they are aware of something. It took me years to understand that what we say about God is that thing that I felt with them, because it's different, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I say about that, what I mean about that, that for them, they knew that they live from something else. I mean, they knew that every second of their living and mine or everything is held in by something. And that something is not something that I can even think of a form of something. It's not something like human. It's not like any something that I can imagine even to say that this is God. But for them it was everything, and that we are part of it, and we live by it, and it's full of love and like nurturing us all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm. So in a sense, we are all connected. Everything in the universe, all life, whether it be human beings, extraterrestrials, animals, plant life, is all connected.
Yes, it's connecting by that. I mean, we are like all in that oneness. What have this oneness is that thing that give life to it. We say about that God, but everyone have his own things about this word God. So it's hard to me to say God, but this is it. I mean, they know it. They don't have to believe it or not. They just know it every second. In every second of they are conscious of it, and we are all in it, and this is the thing that connect us all. And it seems that we are human. We have like two parts of consciousness. We have our own normal consciousness that we live the way we live, but we have a different one. It's not different, it's connected, but it's much more deeper. The consciousness that we dream, that we imagine, our subconsciousness, our upper consciousness, and we have a kind of communication between our two way of consciousness. And it seems that they are trying to help us to connect with ourselves, with our deep consciousness, that it's very wide. It's like our own consciousness, our deep consciousness is connected to the one all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here bit by bit, open a window for that. And it seems that they came here to help us doing that. But they are not like allowed to do it in a suddenly come here and say, hey, we are here, and
Yeah.
they let us do it in ourselves, because this is the thing that we are doing here. We are open our self to ourselves.
Mm. So they were teaching you that a lot of the problems that we have in our lives, we can basically just go within ourselves and solve those problems because we have the knowledge.
Yes, we have the knowledge, and the work. The work that we do here is to to take this knowledge to our physical ordinary life. I mean, like to develop spiritually is not for the soul, because the soul is already there. All the work that we do is to manifest this through our body, through our thinking. It's like we have this world that with so much pain and suffering and good and bad things, and we have to we try to open ourselves to the understanding of how it's all connected to our soul and to our deep spirit, and this is the development, our own regular consciousness. This is
yeah. I imagine to get to the level these beings were at, I mean, we must be talking, I mean, they could be millions of years old.
yes, yes. I think that you know, time is very different thing than what we understand, because in that realm that they came from, this other dimension, it seems that time don't have any separated parts like we have past and future. This other dimension is not other time. It's like all the time. It's very hard for us to understand,
Yeah,
because
it
for
is.
us, future is not here yet. It's going to come, but in the past don't is not reality too. Our reality is only a very small fraction of time. But for them, reality is all of it. And they can move inside of it in a way that probably we're going to understand in time. But now, so what it means is that like they are part of us from the future, but in our translation. I mean, our translation of time could be like they are us from the future. For them, we are part of them totally. And they can communicate with the aspects of the all of the oneness that
Right.
we all share together.
Yeah. They must be really shaking their heads at the moment, because humanity has evolved into a me generation right now, and there's not a lot of connection between people and the love between people, but people are more self-absorbed about themselves.
Yes, yes, I think this is the real job that have the reason that we are here. I mean, to be in a physical world with a physical body that need to survive is very hard.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
something that I got from them too. They appreciate our work here very much. They honor us that we are souls that came from the oneness and decided to go to a deep black place, this physical place with a body that see only little things and live with fear and need to start to open his body to this oneness, and it's very difficult. That's what it's very difficult, but I think the communication between the people is the main thing that can give us the opportunity to open ourselves to this oneness, to be happy.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, our body is working like that. If we do the right things for the spirit, we are happy. The good things for the spirit is when you're helping each other and you do good things inside of you, you are happy. So we made for that. And this time that we have so much problems with each other and wars and these kind of things, it gave us hard time until we understand that it's all It's all in the connection between us.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yes.
Yeah, Yossi, I guess it relates a lot to what near-death experiences go through, and they give us a real glimpse of who we really are, because they all report the same thing about consciousness, and they get to a place and they all feel a oneness with each other. So it begs the question, and what you said earlier, do we really die or we just move on?
I'm sure that we may move on. I mean, in the second that I felt myself out of my body, I remember that I thought it's a dream, but I remember the feeling. The I knew that I'm not, that this body that's sleeping on the bed is only a place that I will go back there.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me. I was, I was fond of my body, but it was not me. Everyone that have this out of body experience or clinical death realize that in an instance. I mean, it's because of the people that don't believe it, it gave them a hard time. And even they say, okay, what I felt was weird. I'm not sure that I'm believe that myself that this is the truth. I mean, even my mother have this out of body experience, and she said, and she told me how much marvelous it was. And then I told her, so you know that you're not going to die and that's it. And she said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You see, people, it's hard for them to realize the obvious. I'm sure, I mean, most of the people that have this experience understand that.
Yeah, yeah. Yossi, did they give you a warning for humanity?
Yes, it was. Yes. What did you want to say?
No, I'll just ask you, I mean, did they give you a warning for humanity? Do we need to be on the lookout for where we are headed?
Yes, yes. In the last of the connection, in the when they understood that I cannot stand the connection anymore because it was too strong for me, they decided to go. But before of that, the one that was standing near me gave me a different connection. He gave me a vision, like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, I was inside of the movie, and I saw myself standing on a green field uh, with the blue sky and a beautiful day with the cows near me. And suddenly a fire burst from the horizon and burned everything. And I felt from that it was it was a it was pain of like it was my responsibility of what happened. Me is us. I mean, when they talking to
Yeah.
me, it was talking to the oneness, and the feeling of the responsibility and the pain that I had was like I understood that they let me understand that that things that we do can ruin ourselves and on earth. I mean, animals and I quietly understand that because we really treat ourselves and others and animals in a very way of like it's ours and we can do here whatever we want, and yes, it was frightened to see that. I hope
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. It was only a warning.
Well, that's interesting you say that. I mean, I'm just going back to one of the Old Testament Bible verses in Genesis that says God gave us dominion over the animals, over the planet. But I guess he meant, but you still need to treat them properly.
That's right. In the book, I I I go into the Bible. It took, I mean, after the contact, I didn't started to be religious or something like that, even now. But after the contact, for many years, I tried to understand what happened logically, because what happened for my consciousness and whatever I felt and understand was okay, but I wanted to understand it rationally. And one of the ways I looked for other places of knowledge in human knowledge and culture that speak the same. I mean, what I felt in their consciousness was a way of looking at reality. And I started to watch in our cultures, religious, everything. I started to look if there is something similar. And I saw many things that is getting very near in Buddhism and this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
20 years later, I suddenly started to read the Bible, and it was very weird for me because I looked for everywhere else but not the Bible, because I was born with the Bible and the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the contact, it didn't have a connection to the Torah, to the Bible that I was in school learning. So I didn't look there. But when I started to read, suddenly I realized that many things that the way they are written there have a very strong connection to their consciousness.
Right, right.
And it's written with the simple stories like Adam and Eve and heaven, but there is a very strong way of let you understand things that they are not in the words themselves, like they don't have to talk, but
Mm-hmm.
I translate it. And in this book, I read the book, I read the words, and in the words, there is a very strong connection to that thing that I didn't saw anywhere else.
Right, right.
For instance, for them, the way they think is not in our duality understanding. I mean, we live here in this physical world, but there is good, bad, up, down, and that's why we can't. It's difficult for us to see the oneness. That black is white. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
light and darkness can be together. It's very hard for us to understand it. For them, they see the connection, that they see them both. And this is one of the reasons that they are like happy, like they are complete with the good and bad. So it's good. Good
Mm-hmm.
and bad, like light and darkness is light. So I say that in the story of Garden of Eden, before they ate from the fruit, they were in heaven. They were happy.
Mm-hmm.
And what the fruit was, the knowledge of good and bad. Now, most of the people think that the understanding of the knowledge of good and bad is that they didn't know how to separate good from bad. And
Right.
when they eat, they know what is good and what is bad. What I understand that is totally different. What is really written there is before they ate the fruit, good and bad for them was one. What happened to them when they ate the fruit, it made it separate.
Right.
The good
Okay.
from bad.
Yeah.
And that was the start of physical world of dying and born again and die, and all this physical world started from that thing that happened in their consciousness.
Okay, and that's that separation has continued on to today. I mean, with religions, with separate countries,
Yes,
there's a lot of separation, and we've got a lot of work to do.
yes, yes, yes.
Yossi, I just quickly before I move on with my next question, the prophets of the Old Testament, do you think they received the same sort of visitations that you had? Is that where they were getting their knowledge from?
I think that we start to realize now that the realm of our deeper consciousness is connected to to wide things, to very lot of things. I mean, what we see in the out of body, I mean, our self in out of from the body, or in the near-death experience, or when when we connect to other beings that they are not from the physical world and other dimensions, they are all connected to one. It's like one place that we human sometimes go there, have inspiration. We have songs, we have science, we have ideas, we write, we understand things because we go there for a minute, we get inspired and use it here. And I think from the old days, we did it, human. We did this kind of connections. And the same stories of angels, I think it's the same like the aliens today. It depends on how we translate it. If a guy is in a fear state and he didn't have a good chance like me that I had a good experience with them, he can stay with his fear and be and this fear translate the alien like a reptilian or I don't know what. I mean, it depends on in our translation. And probably the people from the old times, when they had connections, they had the same ideas from that. And probably, I don't know how, the root of the religions, probably there were very, very strong, high spirit humans that had connection to that realm.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. Do you think other people are having, I mean, a lot of other people are having similar experiences as you have had, but just don't remember?
of course, I think it's not only that they are not remember because it's so far out, because it's the connection is the main thing, the main area of the connection is our subconsciousness, and we don't pay attention for that because it confuses us. We think of it as a imagination. We think that we invent it, but of course we have imagination and we invite things, but it's hard for us to separate what we subjective imagination. Excuse me. I'll close that. And what happened that when the connection is happening with them, the man is most of the time it's easy for him to think it was a dream, or I imagine it, or I maybe I was sick, or things something like that. I don't say that there are not imagination and there are not people that just imagine all that, but I think that thousands of people have connections. Only in Israel here, I met hundreds that had this connection, and they didn't know what to do with that. They didn't know how to translate it. There were most of them didn't talk about that because if you will tell if the boss in the work will heard that this guy had a contact with green beings, he will release him home. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's very difficult
There's still a
to,
stigma attached.
yes. So people don't talk about it.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder why you were chosen? Do you think people are chosen by, or they get chosen by accident, or they're specifically targeted?
I think it's related to many things. It's one probably is a thing that uh, like purpose that you have before you came to live. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
before you're born,
Yep.
there is a situation that what I believe so that that who you're going to be, who going to be your parents, in what time you're going to born, and more or less what is your opportunity in in this life that you're going to have. You choose it.
Yeah.
And from this side, I think that it's like work. Everyone have his own work that he decide to do as he do it in this thing. Another thing is the choose. You choose the body that you going to be with your parents. And I noticed that the parents gave you the connection to your consciousness similar to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my family, there is a lot of out of body experiences and clinical death. And it seems that there is a thin layer between real consciousness and deep consciousness. And maybe the people that have this connection, they're a little bit more open to that realm of existence. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why they have it.
And I've read a lot and listened to a lot of the experts in this field talk about babies still being in that consciousness state up until a certain age, before the world starts to pollute their environment.
Yeah.
But a lot of people wonder why babies just suddenly stare up and will suddenly smile and laugh and as if there was someone there.
Yeah, exactly. I um, I saw that too, and what I understood, and it's that the baby in the womb, what I heard, and I think it's truth. Before he is born, he is connected to the oneness,
Mm-hmm.
and in the instance that he born, he forget everything, but he he doesn't have this duality thinking yet.
Yeah.
So he's still open, like he was in the womb, is open for everything. You see, most of the children and the small babies are happy without a reason. I mean, they're just happy because they breathe or just happy because they live. Only on the years that the duality of good, bad, and started to be logical and rational, you started to block yourself from that oneness.
Yep.
But you have to do it. It's natural, and this is the growth that we
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
So,
Couple more questions, Yossi. Disclosure, is that something that you think about, like full disclosure? We've spoken quite a bit about that lately, but if you think about it a lot, do you really think these beings, particularly the ones that you came in contact with, are really ready to meet us on an even keel, on an even platform?
well, I think that, I had 30 years more than to think about that and to see what's going on. In the beginning, I, I didn't talk about it even 5 years because it was so weird. The connection is very, very life shattering
Mm-hmm.
for everyone that's going to have it.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons that I know that I think that aliens wait for us to be ready for that because it could be harming it could harm us. If we are not ready, it could be very, there's so much confusing. Even religious people now afraid of the idea that there is life outside of our planet. But I know that when the connection gonna be, it's only good. I mean, most of the people will, it will be very easy for them to believe in God, but not particularly in a religious way. And that's why I think that they are waiting for us to be ready. And but I see many signs of that it's going, it's developing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see it in the media. This is the mass media that most of us consume, and the media convince us, or and you see movies like the movie, what's the name of the movie, with the linguistic woman that they send her to make the contact with the aliens that came from, what's the name of the movie?
That's a recent movie.
Yeah, couple
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah.
The movie was
The Arrival. The Arrival.
Arrival. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a very important movie that I don't know why the people don't realize, but the movie really talks about the thing that gonna be between us. This is the language, because
Mm-hmm.
the language is the way our thinking. I mean, the language is a translation of our thinking, and they think a little bit different. So the like the border between us and them will be the language.
Right.
And if we start to use our language in a different way, we will get to the place that we could connect with them with our consciousness.
Okay. You're writing a book. Releasing a book soon?
Yes, in a couple of months, I think. It's now in translation to English.
What's it called?
One.
One. That's a
Yes.
very appropriate title.
Very short.
Yeah. It's going to be available usual places, Amazon.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna publish it, but it's gonna be on Amazon. And this book gonna be a collection of many years of my study of my contact and others with relations, and the things that I see in our culture that connect with that.
Mm-hmm.
The first part of the book going to be the testimony of the contact itself. It was much more wider than what I told you now, because it was many small parts that are very important to, and I think to many other people that have connection, that's going to help them to understand what happened to them, why the fear, why the good feeling, why the different translations from. And then I go to the hypnotic regression that gave me much more things to relate to and to understand more. And two dreams that they gave me, very specific dream and detailed dream to understand a little bit more the connection that we had and how to deal with the problems like the fear. In the first, I didn't understand why I had to be afraid so much if they are good. So why they don't show themselves, and what I didn't have any proof for their being with me.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I have to be alone with this thing so many years? I had many questions. So in the book, I solve it, and there is a very nice big picture of all these questions together.
Okay. Have you had follow-up visits in the last few years?
I didn't have any face-to-face visit like I had there. I think I tried once before I started to write the book. I felt responsible to do it right, to
Yeah.
write the book right, because I know that many people have the same connection that they need help because there is a lot of confusion and a lot of fear.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
decided to write the book for the people to know that the fear is not something that they have to go through.
Yeah, we've reported many times the number of people who are staying silent because of the fear, and but today, I mean, for a start, MUFON, for example, offers people the chance to come in and talk about their experience in a safe environment. And I guess the work we're doing here at the moment is to
Yes.
encourage people to come out and tell their story.
It's very important. One of the main reasons for that book for me is that to
Yeah.
help people. That I know that from lots of people that I talk with them, that after they talk about the thing, and I talk to them, and they realize that the fear was really their fear, their inner behavior from that shock that they have with them,
Yeah.
and they are not bad.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say that I tried to have another meeting with them face to face. I couldn't do that. I didn't have the physical or the physical strength
Yeah.
to be face to face with them once again. It seems that they, like, on that time, the situation was much more easier for me to do that. And today I have to work a lot, once again, to do it in a proper way that I had the chance to face them face to face.
Right.
But I do it with meditation, and sometimes they come with a dream, and I get help from them.
Okay. Well, Yossi, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you today. Fascinating discussion, and we'll look forward to your book being released in a couple of months.
Thank you for having me once again.
Been a pleasure. Yossi Ronen joining us today.